Sorry,
You
I'm a noob when it comes to the social media stuff.
just click the share button and you'll see the option to share it to this room.
Oh, I see.
Zach, are we waiting till Alex gets in the room to speak more on it, or are we just holding off?
Yeah, I thought we were waiting until Alex came in and see what he has to say about it.
All right, let's do that. I'll just share the link and then we can talk about it later. I'm sure Alex will love to talk about it.
Absolutely. In the meantime, feel free to tap on the mic and join us up on stage, guys. We're here to get any feedback you might have, or if you have some questions for us. Also, at the top of the hour, so about a half hour away, Alex will be joining us. So be ready for that, and make sure we share the room out so we can get as many people in the room to speak to him as possible.
Also, if I could just slide in real quick, a public service announcement. So if there's anyone in this room that is brand new to Celsius and you're wondering what exactly we do, how does it work, if you have a basic question, you can still ask that in this room. You may hear a lot of high-level questions from people who've been around a long time, but these rooms were created for everyone, so for new people and experienced people as well. So don't feel intimidated. Don't feel like my question is a silly question, because regarding understanding how Celsius works, there are no bad questions. So feel free to ask a question if you have one about how Celsius works, how we do what we do, what our products are, anything along those lines.
Araceli, welcome to stage.
Hi, everyone. Hey, so I'm going to try to phrase my question as easy as possible. But so with the recent volatility and how we had this huge drop down the last weekend, and let's pretend there was, I don't know, $1 million worth of liquidations. Let's just pretend, okay? So what happens to those coins? Like where do they go back? Like those tokens, it said sell token, for example. What happens to it? Where the person was not able to put back collateral to bring up their LTV value, and then they lost all that. Where does it go?
I would probably ask Tal. I mean, I'm not part of the liquidations team, so I would ask her. I'm not sure what the best answer for that would be.
Yeah, because I was wondering, okay, so they get liquidated, and then so do those tokens go back into circulation? They put them in a specific, cold wallet, or how does that? And then how does that affect the actual price of not just sell token, but you can say like if they have a loan against their Ethereum, or if they have a loan against their Bitcoin, and so on and so forth, and they get liquidated, like what happens to all those funds? But okay, maybe next
Sure.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and I know they get removed from the wallet, but I don't know what happens on the back end there. So I think we'll probably have more loan questions, and might bring in Tal for a little while so that she may be able to help out. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly how that process works.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming in, Araceli. Jay Gels, now that you're back on stage, I'd like to take advantage of this time. Did you want to finish your thought real quick?
Thank you very much. My phone was freaking out with the Queensland heat, and the Twitter Spaces thing just kind of overheats it real quick. Appreciate you having me back up. Yeah, my last question, which is related to Araceli's question just now. I have to assume that for at least the vast majority of the tokens that get liquidated, generally speaking, in order to protect the rest of the community, they'd have to get sold on the open market so Celsius can recover the original loan amounts. And I'm just wondering, because Cell Token itself is in a really unique position where Celsius, the company, has the majority of the Cell Tokens that exist on the open market within the app. That if there's, lot of leverage against the sell token within the app. If liquidation levels do get hit, the potential cascade that could start on sell token comparatively to like Bitcoin or anything else, where Celsius only holds a small portion of the overall token on the open market, the liquidation cascade could potentially be absolutely brutal. And I'm just wondering, in terms of protecting the overall community, have there been any conversations around limiting the overall amount of leverage that's allowed for the sell token within the platform? Only, like 5% or 10% of the total sell tokens that Celsius holds are allowed to be levered in order to protect the rest of the community, or anything else there?
Yeah, I think that like sell tokens only available for the 25% LTVs. So they have the lowest risk on that end, but liquidations still do happen, and even I got a margin call. So I mean, I totally understand. And like I said, I can't go into the details, but we do have some strategies to prevent a cascade of liquidations as best as possible. But again, maybe that would be a better question for Tal and how liquidations work in those scenarios.
Okay, fair enough.
And by the way,
yeah.
Jason, I didn't see any liquidations this week, and I know a lot of people with loans, and the tokens were taken out of their wallet, which is one of the questions I want to ask Alex. I didn't see any sell token liquidations. And
There definitely were some.
Oh, okay. That is a great question, but I would say probably they would go. He would probably buy them and put them into the Treasury. That would be my guess, but let's ask Alex.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, if they are going into the Treasury, that means that Celsius, the company, is buying the tokens on the open market and supporting the price anyways, rather than selling them. And I think it's an interesting position, and I have mixed thoughts on that. And it obviously protects me as well. So there's some inherent bias there because I do have outsell token-backed loans. But it's agreed. I'd be interested to hear more.
Thanks for coming back up, JJ. I was glad we got you back in. Lloyd, you're up next.
Hey guys, wanted to ask a question following on from something Alex was saying in the AMA on Friday regarding potential of introducing a amount kind of target for platinum users instead of just a percentage of total holdings. Is that something that's being considered for other levels beneath platinum as well for certain target amounts?
Yes, it is being considered. I think on that front, the biggest issue that I see is with the larger holders. There's some perverse incentives that come into play. So a great example is there's a number of users or X number of users that would bring on more assets, but they don't want to lose their platinum status. So they're not bringing more assets to the community, which is not something we want to have. And then the other dynamics, like if you have a massive account or you're a money manager, then you like fiduciarily cannot allocate such a large portion of your portfolio to sell token. And then other things that I think a different type of measurement of platinum status would be very beneficial. And the team agreed on something that's similar, and I think will be very helpful to resolve some of these issues. And so I'm working on implementing that myself. But then I would like to, an entire tier model structure has to be redone at the end of the day, but it's going to take a lot more time than we want to spend. So we're kind of attacking the short-term problem best we can. And then I'm in favor of having a type of hard cap limit on all tiers so that we can both serve the small holders and the larger holders. But interesting, when I look at the data, the vast majority of all sell token holders are platinum. And it's, from what I think, people are one way or the other. They either want all the benefits or they don't want to participate in any of the benefits. There's very few silver and gold users compared to how many platinum users there are. So, keeping that in mind, we're definitely focusing all of the utility on the platinum level and kind of want to make that the thing to achieve, and then have mid tiers in order to work your way up to that level.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. You said about kind of aren't as many kind of people in the middle, so to speak, because it kind of feels, and I probably put myself in that kind of almost that middle category where you kind of feel like, okay, you don't want to kind of allocate, reduce, say, some of, say, Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example, and move it more into sell to get that higher percentage, because that would significantly reduce the holdings that you've got of the other coins that, of course, your top caps you want to still focus on. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to build up that kind of sell amount if you've not got kind of, more dry powder, so to speak. But then if there's another limit, even to get onto the kind of the bronze or the silver and gold, so you're seeing some benefits in an increase in the yield percentage, then that's, but no doubt, like you say, you've got kind of a lot of people who are kind of, massive holders, but hopefully they would automatically qualify on that other limit, if those kind of limits were introduced on the amount basis. So, yeah, no doubt it's striking a balance. It's tough for you guys.
Looking at the data, I'm seeing that the vast majority of platinum users are not holding it primarily for the utility. They're holding it primarily for a speculative reason, whatever that reason may be. And I suspect that because most platinum users have well above the 25% or the 20% requirement. So, or the 25% HODL ratio, depending, the math on that is weird, but let's say 25%. Most of them are well above that 25% threshold. So that tells me that people are not just holding it for utility, because you don't get additional utility above 25%, but they're holding it more as a speculative option, which has huge implications on what we do here, because everything that we do has multiple effects, and we've got to consider as many of those effects as possible before we make a change.
Yeah. I mean, looking at on the other side, for example, if we do go into a prolonged bear market, then maybe there are going to be then more incentives for people to qualify for a certain level, so they do increase their yield percentage, perhaps.
Yeah, a lot of options are on the table. And again, the sell team is really, we're the strike force here, and we're trying to implement these very quick to activate utilities and accessibilities and things around that. While there's still a ton of work going on in the background on kind of a total revamp, and then of course the building of all these other products and integrating Cell Token into them.
Cool. Okay. Well, yeah, great to get those insights. Cheers.
Thanks for coming up, Lloyd. Next up is SCW.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity to ask questions, guys. I just want to find out, and sorry if this has been discussed before, about any updates on the credit card program in terms of time frames to be launched, especially internationally, since I'm based in Australia.
Nothing yet.
Also, any idea in terms of the rewards that is going to entail?
I know everybody's extremely excited for the credit card, but we don't have any details on it yet, and we will announce those very loudly and proudly once we have them.
All right. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you for coming up, SCW. Alexander, welcome back up.
Thanks. One more question, guys, because I just know recently that you had to become accredited investors, and my question is just actually to you, Zach. Can you speak? How hard was this? How much paperwork was it? So is it a big hurdle to get that, or was it like, okay, I sit down and then do my homework and then I'm able to do that, or was it really struggling?
I mean, to get accredited, if you are accredited, it's very simple. You can have your accountant or lawyer do it, or you can pay I think it's like $70 for Verify Investor to accredit you, or to show you as accredited, if you qualify. So that part is very, very easy. But building the infrastructure on the back end was a very heavy lift, and that's why it was it took so long to build that out. So like, I'm very glad to have that infrastructure, and we can use that infrastructure going forward for other things as well, because these kind of sell restrictions are always going to have an accredited versus a non-accredited effect. But to actually get accredited on your side is very easy. Just check with Verify Investor, and then submit
for
that.
us. Sorry, for us, that's not a problem. I was just thinking, okay, like what kind of stones they put to you guys. I mean, Alex is in the States, right? But we here in Europe are actually never faced all of these. Okay, you have to do that, and that to be able to earn and sell. Right.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand your question.
My question was that you in America are just able to earn and sell. So I am able to earn and sell in 5 years, and I never had to do anything up there. Just work with the app and say how I wanted to be rewarded in.
And you're a U.S. user?
No, I'm German.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, that's why. This really only applies to U.S. users.
Yeah. So
yeah,
and the question was just how tough it is. So everybody can actually do some homework and do it.
Yeah. Well, to be accredited is not about education; it's about wealth. Unfortunately.
Okay.
So it's all based on the two easiest ways are to either have $1 million of liquid net assets, or to make $200,000 a year for the last 2 years. So it's completely based on how much money you have or how much money you make, which is, unfortunate that it's set up that way.
Yeah.
So if you look at it that context, it could be pretty hard to accumulate $1 million of assets or $200,000 a year in income. That's very difficult to do.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming up, Alexander. IP, you're up next.
Hello, guys. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. I'm joining all the way from Southeast Asia. I actually have two questions. The first one is regarding the sell token. So I'm just actually curious to know, let's say if you guys want to list it on an exchange like Binance, is there actually a resistance from their side just because you guys happen to be in the same line of business? So maybe they would would they oppose it? Or is it just like your decision that, okay, we are not listing on these exchanges just because it's our decision? Is that the case? And my second question is regarding the loans.
We'll do one at a time. One at a time.
All right.
So on the exchange side, that'd probably be a good Alex question, because we have partnered with a lot of exchanges, just not Binance at this time. So I'm not sure exactly what goes into that, but I think there has to be some sort of mutual relationship. All right. We'll ask him on those kind of details.
Okay. The second question is, I actually hold some sell tokens, and I'm thinking of taking a loan against it, but I'm not really familiar with the mechanism of, let's say, I know that there will be a margin call if the price drops to a certain level, and then below that there will be actually a level of liquidation. But let's see if there's a rapid crash, and what if I don't have sufficient time to actually put in the collateral in a case where the crash actually happens so fast that it actually hits the margin call and the liquidation levels, like maybe within 1 hour or 2 hours, something like that. Is it a possible scenario? Or I'm just curious, actually. This is the only thing that's holding me back from taking a loan against my sell tokens. So if you guys could clarify that. Or
So for that, I'm not sure exactly what happens in the case of a flash crash that's sustained.
Okay.
I suspect if there's a flash crash for 10 seconds, then that's not going to be a problem. But if there was a crash of 75% that just hit, any asset, if it happened to Bitcoin, that would, I don't know how loans would be handled in that way. Because generally our policy is, you get a margin call at 65%. You can always see the LTV of your loan. So if you feel that your LTVs are getting uncomfortably high, it's best to transfer assets to the app. And then you can instantly take those assets and use it as collateral or pay off the loan or pay down the loan. So I would say that's the best thing you can do if you get uncomfortable. But as far as like a flash crash, like a real flash crash, I don't know how we handle that, because on one hand, you have to maintain that LTV to a certain degree, but on the other hand, we don't automatically liquidate users, and we really try to do everything we can to prevent liquidation. So I think those details again would be really good for Tal, and we can see if we can get her in here.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, Zach.
Thanks for coming up, IP. XRP, what's going on? XRP, you're up next, and if you're speaking, unmute yourself. All right, I'm going to move on to Hardy Sailor.
Hey guys, how's everybody? Thanks for letting me up. I've got, let's see, 3 points. I'll start and say, hey, I had a margin call and did it on the app, and it looked like it worked out okay. Got an email right at the price I knew it was coming, so that was nice, and nice to see the app working well there. On the flip side, I've been having issues with customer support now for a while. It's basically two issues. It's the accredited investor status. You know, I was on the ICO. I've done OTC work, and I guess I understand you guys have to keep verifying. Okay, you know, I'll do it. But it doesn't seem to be working on the app, and I submitted my verify investor deal, but I'm still not accredited, so I don't have swaps, I assume. So that's one issue.
Okay, so yeah, we'll go through them one at a time. So the swaps is irrelevant to the situation. Okay. We don't base your accredited off of that. Okay. And then were you just working with general customer care?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if you saw me. You can't actually call. I have to do general because your option number 8 on the message doesn't work. I can't actually talk to anybody, an accredited investor, and nobody's called me back since these tickets have been up.
Okay. So what's happened when you've called customer care? What have they told you, and what have you done so far?
Okay, so just so we're clear, I hit number 8, right, to talk to them, and I get disconnected.
Okay.
So that needs to be fixed. So then I finally get through to general support, and they basically look at my account and say, well, you need to talk to an accredited investor.
That's not helpful.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Yeah. All right. If I guess the best thing is I can take care of this one. If you could DM me your Celsius email,
sure.
I can look you up and get you taken care of up here. And then if you also want to email me, or you can just email me directly, Zach@Celsius.network. All right. And then send me your accreditation document that's within the last 90 days.
Yep.
Then we can get that taken care of. Yeah, it sounds like our customer care is still developing. So it just sounds like a bump in that road, and I'll let that team know that you got caught in that loop.
Okay. I'll also send you the issue about my KYC, which when I'm on the web server or on the web or whatever it is, it has a little green light saying I'm verified, I guess.
Verified, yeah.
But when I'm on the app and I am trying to receive or send coins, the red tag comes up and says your KYC's not good.
Okay, yeah. Something's going on here with your account. So yeah, send me your information, and I can take a look, and I'll be able to get someone to work on it tomorrow.
Thanks, appreciate that. My last question, if you don't mind, is around the Celsius X. Josh quoted some weird like AFSDDD, and you've did a tweet where you had your eyes to watch for the swap, and I saw it. What my question is, how does the Celsius X effort, this thing, directly affect the Cell token?
So again, we haven't released all the details, and I can't. But two major things that I think we could look forward to is Cell token being involved in or almost all, if not all, transactions that take place on Celsius X. And then 2 is this ability for Celsius to provide the back-end liquidity across chains instantly at an extremely high efficiency is going to be hugely profitable for the yield generation side. And again, most of the rewards that we earn end up going back to users, including cell token holders. So, we haven't announced specific functions of cell token on the platform.
Okay.
And we've done that purposefully. But, this company is always working in the best interest of its users. And there is a level of trust when you work with Celsius, right? You're trusting us with your coins and you're trusting us to act in your favor. And people are very skeptical of that, and rightfully so, and that's why we do all of this over communication. But I can guarantee you, I see it with my eyes every day now, that Alex is taking the cell token utility extremely seriously and feels the community sentiment and is putting an enormous amount of energy to bring us back. So
I heard
that's
that
always at the core of the mission,
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, Zach. And I think it was really nice for a bit of a mea culpa from Alex on Friday. So I'm on board. I'm totally on board. It was more technical, trying to understand Carl and Josh and what's going on with this thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and those details are coming out. Celsius X is on time, and it really is a beautiful set of products that, again, is going to. This is probably the biggest innovation in DeFi in quite some time, and we're on the leading edge and are going to have a huge advantage against every other platform in this space.
Sweet, great to hear. All right, well, thanks. That's what I needed. Appreciate it, and thanks for the support.
Yep.
Also, Hardy Sailor, I'll reach out to customer service as well. I work with them quite often, so I can definitely do that. Take that off your plate, Zach, that piece.
Okay, great.
Also, just want to let the room know that their hours for phone support is 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, it is updated on the website. Those hours, 1-866-463-5669 or HODL now. So I just wanted to update the room with that as well.
And that's now Monday through Saturday, correct? Not Monday through Friday? I believe that's what they did. They
okay.
I think they reduced the Monday through Friday by 2 hours and are adding support on Saturday, that 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern.
All right. I will definitely speak to them to make sure they update the site as well. The site does not have that reflected, but I'll speak with them on that as well.
Thank you for that bit. And Hardy Sailor, thank you for coming up. XRP, I see you're back up.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, go for it.
Oh, good. Thank you. I just want to say, first of all, love Celsius. I've been a member since pretty much day one. But I'm a legally blind user, and I've got, background in IT and programming, and I'd like to offer my services as an accessibility tester for the app, because at the moment, not everything works with my screen reader on my iPhone. So I'd really like to, be a tester.
Sure, that's interesting. I'm pretty certain we haven't optimized for the visually impaired. Part because it's just a rather small market, but I totally understand that. And let me ask to see if you could join one of our beta groups and can participate in that and give feedback from your perspective.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. Yeah. Could you please send me an email? Zach at Celsius.network.
All right, cool. Yep.
Thanks.
All right, excellent. Actually, I think I did send you a DM, but you mustn't have got it.
Twitter DMs are tough. I get a lot of spam, so I get much less spam on my email. So that's the best way to get in contact.
All right, no worries. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, XRP.
No worries.
Plan C, what's going on? Plan C, are you there? All right, I'll move on to Tom.
No, sorry, Josh. Sorry, man. I am here. Yeah, I just had a question for, well, I guess any of you guys. One thing that was happening during the crash was I had a sell loan basically that the liquidation was at like a $1.50, and the margin call was at I think $1.90 something. But I noticed that you couldn't add collateral until you got a margin call. Is that the case? Because it was just kind of sucked because it was like 4 a.m. I'm sitting on the computer watching the price. There's a wall at $2, and I'm like, if this goes below, it could go below 150. I wake up in the morning, I didn't get a chance to add any collateral because I just wanted to add collateral. I had tons of sell in my wallet. I just wanted to be able to go to sleep, basically.
Yeah, no, I had that same concern, and this crash was a really good exercise in like loan management, and we learned a lot of lessons. And really appreciate the feedback. And again, like experiences like Plan C have made it clear that we need to have a way for users to add collateral freely, really at any time. And so they can preemptively protect their loans. And I had the same thing. So what I did was I emailed the loans team and I said, hey, I was going to bed too, but I intend to use all my sell token as collateral to cover my loans. So I kind of gave them a green light to do that. And really the biggest thing with the loans team is communication. And if you get a margin call or are about to get a margin call or fear you may get a margin call, communicate ahead of time and say what you plan on doing or what you'd like to do. And then we can use that in order to fulfill your actions right in the middle of the night. Again, it's never our objective to liquidate users. It's a poor experience on both ends, and we really only do it as a last resort. So if you are ever concerned about a loan, over communicate in this space. It's perfectly fine. There's a team that's ready to do that. And like in Plan C's case, he already had the collateral in the app. The best thing to do in that scenario would to tell the loans team ahead of time, say, hey, if I get a margin call on my loan number, whatever, please go ahead and fulfill that so it protects the loan. That's what I did. They ended up doing it, and it worked out well.
Okay, perfect, Josh. Sorry, Zach. That sounds great. I'm glad they're going to change that because then it just makes it easier. It makes sense. But thanks for answering the question.
And I don't see why there's any there would be any downside for adding extra collateral. On the reverse margin calls, I see how that may still need to be manual for now, but for adding collateral, we want to make that as easy as possible for users to do that, so these loans get protected. So I think that was a big lesson that we learned here, and are going to optimize the service to do that.
Okay, awesome. That sounds great, guys. You can go to someone else.
Thanks for coming up, Plan C. Todd, I believe you're up next.
Hey, Josh, Scott, Zach. Thanks for taking my question. Wondering about the launch of Celsius X and if it'll be, I'm in the United States, so will that be rolled out like we did for swaps based on jurisdictional laws requirements, or will it just be a flash bang and we'll all have it all on the same day?
I'm starting to get the idea that there's a lot of excitement around Celsius X. Josh or Scott, are you picking up on that excitement?
I'm starting to sense that just a little bit, though.
Next thing you know, Caroline's going to come up and she's going to say, "Hey, so Celsius X, what's going on?"
Well, I certainly don't want to start talking about the price of anything or loan calls or anything like that. So I wanted to talk about thinking about the future. I want to talk about the future here in the spring. Absolutely.
No, all good. No, Celsius X is not a product like swaps. It's more of an infrastructure and accessibility product that Celsius is going to use in the benefit of the community and then integrate its products into it. So
that's what I was hoping to hear, Max. So thank you so much.
Yeah. It's not like a feature in the app. It's a background infrastructure that we are preparing ourselves to utilize for the benefit of the community.
That's fantastic. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too, and no one's more excited for Celsius X than me. Next up is Cellcat. What's going on?
Haha, you have met your match.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, Cellcat would cut it close. I'd tell you that'd be a tough one.
I think Cellcat has him beat, honestly.
I'm just kidding. I'm just excited for a lot of cool stuff that's coming out. I know the markets suck right now, but I think Plan C put out some really great TA on where we are right now, and it's a lot more likely that this is not over. And my TA is saying the same thing. So don't give up, guys. Don't give up. I know it's hard, but honestly, have we seen a proper market occur? Like from anyone who's been here over the last the last 10 years or so, I've been through these markets and I've never seen behavior like this, and I think that we're going to see some good stuff happen, and there's a lot coming for Celsius, you guys.
Yeah, I would look back at overall market structure. I agree with you. This in no way feels like a parabolic blow off top. And if you look at the chart as it sits today, we've made a higher high and a higher low. It's just on a really large scale, and to me that communicates, well, maybe this is just a part of a much, much larger parabola that we really don't have the full context on yet. So, I mean, I'm long everything, and I'm not a trader. I'm a DCA and hodler. But, I don't see this as being the bottom of the market or like the beginning of a bear market. Nothing to me points that direction or feels like the 2017 run that I got to experience that was absolutely mania.
Yeah, could I share with you something? Just I came up with this kind of idea in my head that this is kind of what's kind of playing out, right? So
yeah,
we had Satoshi that was seeding the industry, right? So the creation of the idea of Bitcoin and blockchain and all that stuff. Vitalik kind of built out that industry. Charles refined the industry. And then what Celsius and, Alex Mashinsky is going to be doing is, uniting this industry, building really kind of just fulfilling on, feeless everything, interoperability, bringing everything home after all these experiments are done. If we all come together, I think, when we've all looked back at all the different issues we've had over the years with crypto or regulation or anything, it's that lack of unity, it's the lack of interoperability, and it's whenever we talk about high fees, those things not being dealt with, that hurts the retail side of things, that hurts adoption. So I think Celsius X, right, I think that is that next step, and it's going to be the thing that honestly is going to begin that transition over to mainstream adoption.
Yeah, one thing I really think about is I think now we're in this phase of truly monetizing crypto with all these different financial products that are being applied. And there's going to be good products and bad products, and the market will figure that out. But the speed of innovation is just unbelievable. I look at like trading fees on traditional brokerages. That's how they used to make all their money was, they'd get a big order, they'd make X percent on it, and they'd try to do as many orders as they can. And then that eventually got collapsed into a zero fee model per trade or a low fee model. And then Robinhood came along and just charges nothing whatsoever. They just make money off your order flow and other things. So to see that the crypto industry or Celsius has already innovated to that point in crypto, and now we're taking it to the next level, shows that we can move very, very aggressively, because this is all primarily software that can be innovated and developed at such a rapid pace compared to like actual physical infrastructure. So I think that, crypto is being monetized and is becoming a financial asset across the world, and is just breaking into that phase now.
Yeah, and like the future is going to have to be interoperable. It's going to have to be feeless. It's going to have to be, seamless for someone to onboard and tell their friends. So I think that what's happening right now with Celsius, what you guys are building, is just absolutely fantastic, and it's really cool. I feel like I'm just part of history all the time, just being a part of this community. So it's really cool.
It definitely does feel historical. Cellcat, thanks for joining us up here on stage. Alex, welcome in.
Historical or hysterical? Which one was it? I didn't hear you well.
Both, except for this
I'm
weekend.
kidding. How is it going, everybody? Hey, Celsians.
What's going on?
Good. I have some announcements. So should we spread them out or should I just rapid fire everything?
You got to spread them out, Alex. You got to spread them out.
Yeah.
Let's
We have
go.
2 hours. We have 2 hours. Give us one and then maybe one in 30
All right,
minutes.
let's do this. I'm not announcing anything until we hit 500 people. Okay,
There
how
it
about
is.
that? So
There
you
it
share, you like, you push it on every channel. I just pushed it on LinkedIn and on whatever, on Twitter and on everything I have. All right, so you want it? We got to get to 500. We're at 302 right now. So let's see how far we can go. Okay, share, like, talk about it. Let's get a bunch of people listening to this, and then we'll start making an announcement. In the meantime, we'll take some questions. I asked the Cell Team 6 to join, so we're missing a few other people. I don't know if they're available or not, but Zach, if you can ping the missing crew, right? We're missing
Yep. I'll see if I can get them in.
three musketeers, three amigos. So
If I know them like I think I do, they're probably busy busy working and building.
Oh yeah, a lot going on.
You have no idea because we were supposed to do something today, like a first time ever something like this was done, and they told me no, you can't talk about it. So we have to wait for a press release, and I think again that was supposed to be a press release coming out today, but it's delayed by another week. So not because of us, but anyway. But I have plenty other things to talk about. So, 3:31. All right, we're moving. Come on, let's get there.
We are moving. You ready to take some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Jimmy, you're up next.
Hey guys, with this loan talk earlier about how they handled you, Zach, when you were mentioning and Plan C was mentioning about if you hit your margin call limit and then liquidation, that you had to be proactive and say you can use my coins in the program. It just made me think of something. I was always under the impression that if you had additional, say, Bitcoin or Ether or Cell token or whatever it was that you were borrowing against, to make it simple, let's just say you had an Ether loan and you had much more Ether still sitting around to be used as collateral. So I didn't realize that it wouldn't automatically be used if you don't tell the loan team you want it to be used. And I'm just wondering if you guys can ask Tal or put this down as a note for the loan team going forward. Is there an option when you sign up to take out the loan to check a box that says use my additional collateral if needed in case of a margin call? Because I just assumed that if you have 10 times more ETH available than you need to cover it, that would just automatically be used before it was liquidated. So you guys talking about that got me thinking. So I'm not sure if the loans team is allowed to put a box like that for you to check to automatically use it for some regulatory reason. But if not, it would be great to be able to check that initially when you sign up for a loan so you don't have to proactively worry about emailing them ahead of time, or if you're out of town for a few days and the market's crashing and you're not paying attention. Just FYI.
Yeah, so there are regulatory restrictions, like we can't just take money out of your account. And in most cases, because you have multiple options, we can't make the choice for you. So you have to, because you can pay down the loan, you can basically put more collateral, you can sell some of the assets, right? So all those things are decisions you have to make. And, so again, I know some people were struggling with Cell token. You can always, again, use this OTC desk. If you don't want to sell in the market, you can always use the OTC desk to give you a quote and do the transaction with Celsius as well. So there's plenty of options. And again, tomorrow at 2 p.m., all of us will know if basically, you have to watch the market very carefully tomorrow, right? 2 p.m. The JP, our Jerome Powell, our printing machine, is going to be talking and telling us if he's continue to print or if he's going to fight inflation. If he's fighting inflation, Nasdaq is going to crash and Bitcoin is going to crash. And if he decides to print money, then the stock market is going to fly and Bitcoin is going to fly. So between 2 and 2:05 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time, you'll know the destiny of the American economy. Okay?
Alex, don't you find it like kind of absurd that it comes to something like this where we're waiting for one decision from one small group of people at a specific time of day to
not even
know
a group of people, it's one person.
One person, the massive implications of them deciding one thing or another?
Well, like if anyone thought that we were a free economy and we were, whatever, then obviously this proves the opposite, right? So we are, unfortunately, again, since 2000, we are effectively a centrally managed economy, right? Managed by the Fed. And the Fed, and this is not just Jerome Powell, it's like the 4 or 5 people that were before him, including Greenspan and then everybody else, who decided that they're not going to let cycles be cycles. They're going to manipulate the cycles. They're not going to allow recessions. They're going to bail out everybody who needs a bailout. And now we're paying the price for it. Right? We talked about this. If you watch my videos after Corona, I kept talking about this. You cannot print trillions of dollars and think that nothing is going to happen. And the worst of it is that we gave these trillions of dollars, instead of giving it to companies that innovate or technologies that innovate, like blockchain, artificial intelligence, computer learning, all that stuff. We gave it to cruise companies, airlines, all kind of things like that really we don't need in our economy. You take those out, again, airlines went through bankruptcy more than I think any other industry, again and again and again and again. Why this time is different, right? Why did we have to bail out all the airlines and all the cruise companies and all these companies? Why? Because basically Jerome Powell didn't want the banks to take huge losses. So he said, you know what? Instead of bailing out the banks, I'm just going to give trillions of dollars to all the companies that the banks lent money to, so the banks will not be affected.
Here's a term for you, Alex: zombie companies.
Yeah, they're all zombie companies, right? So, so anyway, we're gonna find out tomorrow. The stock market gave him a warning, right? The Nasdaq is down almost 10%. Obviously, Bitcoin, he doesn't care about Bitcoin, so it doesn't matter what warning Bitcoin is giving him. But if he goes against, it's going to be another 10% bloodbath, at least, So, but if he decides that, okay, I'm risking too much, and remember, he cares about his legacy, right? So he doesn't want to be the guy who ruined the U.S. economy. So I would say it's probably an 80-20 split. Like there's an 80% chance it's going to be good news tomorrow, and it's all priced in already. And because of that, we're going higher, much higher. And there's a 20% chance that he is going to decide to be Paul Volcker. If some of you know who Paul Volcker was, he was the Fed chairman who decided to fight inflation and took rates in the United States to 20%. That's what you could get paid. If you put money in the bank, you would be paid 20% for a short period of time to fight inflation. But I think the reason I think he doesn't need to fight inflation is because if you saw my tweet from whatever, yesterday, I don't remember when I posted it, but that it's all about, I do believe that this is a transitory inflation, but not the way the Fed is describing it. And what happened was that basically COVID disrupted our supply chains, both because people were sick, you couldn't ship anything, Factories were closed all over the world. Countries' borders are in trouble, right? There was delays at the ports, but also because we relied on just in time, right? So basically, you needed chips that would be manufactured and put on a plane and delivered exactly at the moment that the factory in Malaysia or whatever needed them, right? And when there was a disruption, suddenly there was a huge slowdown, meaning people who had these components or parts or any inventory could jack up their prices. And when you can jack up your prices, when you have pricing power, that causes inflation, right? And so now we're re-engineering all of the supply chains for the last 2 years. Re-engineering meaning we're bringing back a lot of that stuff we relied on just in time from overseas. We're bringing that back to the United States or to Europe or to other places, relying less and less and less on countries like China or Malaysia and so on. Like, for example, they're building 3 fabs. These are fabrication plants for microchips, right? 3 fabs. Each fab costs between 10 and $20 billion. We have not had a fab built in the United States for I don't know how long. The last one I think that was built was in Eugene, Oregon, right? The Honix group the Korean group built a fab there in, what was it, 93 or 94? I think that was the last fab that was built. Right? So now we're building 3 of them. Why? Because we're bringing all of the stuff that is made in Taiwan and is made in Malaysia and other places. We're bringing all that is going to be made in the United States. Right? So I can give you 100 examples of how we're re-engineering the supply chain, and all this price power is going to go away. All the people who right now are basically charging too much are going to be re-engineered out of existence. All right. So I see the Loan Queen is here. So anyone who went through this flash crash and needed help from the loan team, I think loan team did an amazing job working around the clock 7 days a week to make sure that everybody got their stuff answered. We're talking about thousands and thousands of loans that needed to be either refinanced or adjusted or deal with the margin calls and so on. But somebody had a question asking about why don't we automatically take additional collateral and just extinguish the margin call if the coin's already in the wallet?
Well, hi everyone. It's actually very interesting because we actually have a script that's running in after 24 hours. That says the time for your margin call, right? To answer a margin call, we have a script running and taking coins automatically from the wallet. We actually see a lot of clients not happy with us doing that. So a lot of people want us to do that. A lot of people don't want us to do that. So what we will try to do is to build something that works in both ways and maybe give the customer a little more options in the settings of the loan in the future. It will take some time to build, but we are listening to what everyone are, sharing with us. And we will try to build something that will be, that will give answers for everyone at the same time. But at the end of the day, after 24 hours, people need to answer their margin calls. I saw in the last 5 weeks, people not answering margin calls and waiting to see how the market will act. And they got us to the point a few days ago when, they got to 90% LTV and then they asked time to act after 3 weeks. So, we're trying our best. We are trying to get as many coins as we can to stop, the liquidation trigger. But again, not everyone wants it. So we're trying to do something that everyone wants. So we will bid something. It will be very cool. It will take a little while though.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they asked for. The person who was asking. So, all right, good. Next question.
Well, before we move on to our next question, I see we have one of our 6 brothers with us who was able to show up. I just gave him an opportunity to introduce himself. Joshua, what's going on?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Well, Joshua is a regular on all these calls. Just no one knew that he's a SEAL a SEAL, right? A Navy SEAL. So that's what the new.
I didn't even. Yeah, no one even saw him come in.
He's like a silent assassin.
Yes. Well, I was talking to him earlier today. I said to him, he has the dream job that I wanted to have. Okay, he gets to work on Celsius X the whole day, and test everything and try new things and do things for the first time that never existed before. And that's my dream job, but I don't get to do it. So definitely, I'm a little jealous there.
All right, so we'll keep it moving here. Tecmo, I believe you are next in line.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I just wanted to, well, first off, I want to say I like the rule from last week that you're not allowed to ask a question if you don't share out the room. So I made sure I did that. But I really just wanted to say thanks for sharing my testimonial on the last AMA, Alex, and then also thanks to Josh for helping put it together. The big thing I wanted to get across in that testimonial was the community and how much that has been a part of why I came here and why I've stayed for so long. Scott, leading all of us ambassadors and on all the ambassadors really coming together and, forming a close bond, that community aspect. And then what may not have come across as well is the passion for doing good. That is the ethos of this company. And that is something that prior to even discovering Celsius, my father taught me at a young age, is to give, and the more you give, the more you will get in return. So that's why I'm here, and I just wanted to say thanks.
Yeah, Tekma, thank you very much. You're one of the best. And again, thanks for being part of the community and helping everybody out. We're at 413. So we're trying to get to 500. So share, like, and, for ambassadors like Tekma, we have some news. We are going to start rewarding ambassadors with Cell Token. We found a way to do it. So we're going to allocate a budget for that. And we're going to have several people who we'll make them gods. They will be the guys who kind of like shower Cell Tokens on the community, on ambassadors and influencers and so on. So that's coming very, very soon. The Cell Team 6 is working on the details and we'll be announcing that. And Zach, who is the OG here in the group, now has God powers. He can make anyone platinum user for life. Okay, so if you want to be a platinum user for life, Zach decides if you did enough for the community, and with that comes an NFT that you can brag about. You can use it on your Twitter account, right? Very few people are going to have that. He's going to recognize people in our community, Celsians in the community who have basically been loyal, stuck with us, automatically upgrade them, give them a special NFT, and I think everybody else is just going to be super jealous. So that's what these are the powers that Zach now has.
Yeah, I think this is an effort to again. There's more than one way to give back to the community, and I mean we always appreciate and always work for our Cell Token holders, but the community members that are boisterous and content creators and all that, we're finding that we can use Platinum to reward them in that way as well. So very excited to be working on this.
Yeah, I feel like I have there was a meme of me with wearing the glove with the 6 stones. What is that called again?
That's Thanos's glove.
Yeah, Thanos.
Yeah.
So I feel like
the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes. So I feel like every one of the seals is like one of the stones. I just need to, use them for different powers.
Well said, Alex. I like that. I want to move on before we move on to a question, two things that were brought up while we got Tal on stage here that I thought were interesting. You were talking about adjusting, having more options. Two things I've been hearing a lot about are, one, can I add collateral early? And then two, could there be an option to just say, I'd rather risk it and I'm going to risk liquidation, and there would just be a button to do that instead of adding collateral to my position and taking away from my income? or yield?
That's my question.
Yeah, this is something we heard from clients. Again, guys and girls, you need to remember, Celsius is not, we're not a liquidation provider. We're a hodling platform. And a lot that we build in the last 3 years is based on this. We are not this is not what we are here for. And I can tell you that the last 7 days for me personally were very, very hard. Mentally, it's hard. It's hard knowing what's going on. It's hard knowing, this is people money, but we are trying not to liquidate. Now, we do hear what people ask. We understand what people are asking, and we will build something new in the future according to that. But currently, our product works in the way that we design with our guidelines of Celsius, which is, HODL. So, and also, by the way, you can see with the years how it is changing. We have people want different things. 2 years ago, if no one asked me to liquidate, no one, 2 years ago in March, people were begging us to not liquidate, and we did not liquidate. We were able to do that. Now people asking to liquidate, it's a change. It's completely changing than what we used to see in the past. So we will adapt, but it is a lot of work and, building the right new product. And this takes time because we want to do this right. We don't want to build something that is half good. It should be a really good product that will give more options, more settings for you with your loan. And we will bring it. It's just going to take a little more time to develop it. But yeah, that's the plan. And we're going to talk to a lot of clients. We want to make sure we hear what everyone wants to say. And, we're going to hear all the ideas and we'll build the best product out of it. And maybe we'll have a few products so you can choose, right? You will be able to choose what the product that you want. So that's the plan. There's a lot planning for this year.
All right. So one more announcement. Our call center is now also open on Saturdays. So if you are busy during the week, you don't have time to talk to us, and you still need help on a Saturday, I think it's open from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, we have over 100 agents. Obviously, they're working in different shifts and so on, but over 100 agents who are there to serve you. So Celsius is the only company in crypto that provides that and provides it for free. You can call and ask about anything, right? You just want to feel good. You want to talk to somebody. You're welcome to call Celsius and just hang out and talk about crypto. Okay, so every agent is a Celsian. Every agent has a Cell token. So these are people that know their stuff, and they're all there to make the community better. Obviously, they can handle any specific issues with your wallet or whatever. And again, if you have any questions about loans, you can set up an appointment on a website. Just go to the loan section or borrow section, I think it's called on the website. Scroll down. There's a big button there to set up an appointment, and you get 15 minutes with an agent who just specializes in loan and have access to the system to make adjustments or take care of any problem you have. All right. So those are the easiest way to talk to a person, right? Actually talk to a person. Try that with Google or Uber or any of the companies you use every day. Try to talk to I forgot their name. Gosh, who are the other guys? Coinbase. Sorry. Oops. They still in business? I forgot about them. All right. Other things. So February 22nd. Okay, we have a release on February 22nd. On that date, we will have anyone who has Cell token will be, if you're platinum, instead of earning 5.1%, you'll earn 6.375%, meaning you're gonna get your 25% premium on Cell token. And obviously for gold, any other level, you will earn more than the 5.1%. So that will be just the base level starting February 22nd. February 8th, the release on February 8th will have the Songbird token. I know a lot of people are waiting for that, so it's actually going live, and we will be distributing tokens right after that. So after the release on February 8th, and we're also going to be adding Solana on the same release on February 8th. I know a lot of people waiting for that. And what else do we have?
There's more?
There's more, yeah. Swaps, effective immediately. Swaps are now $100,000 for platinum. So if you were looking for a reason to become platinum, here's a big reason, right? You can swap $100,000 a day, and on February 22nd, you can swap even if you're in hodl mode. So users who are in hodl mode can stay hodl and basically still do the swaps. Okay, and basically in the next 2 weeks, we will also raise platinum up to $250,000 for select users. And so if you are super platinum or whatever, we'll allow you to go higher than 100,000 a day. All right, those are the kind of immediate changes that are happening. On top of this, we'll be publishing a roadmap for Cell Token. Zach already has it. He shared it with me, and the team has been working on that for the last few weeks. So we just need a few last things, and we'll be publishing what comes when. That will include many, many changes for, what was it, the first half of 2022, right?
Yep.
All right. So you see, I cheated. We only 420, and I still gave away all the goodies. So come on, share the room. Let's get to 500. We did it last time, right? We got to beat the old record. I think it was 503 was the highest we've got in this room. So,
Alex, you mentioned the swaps. Can you talk about is there a fee for swapping?
Yeah, there's a fee if you use anything else, right? So currently, Celsius has been ranked by anyone who's done the test, including a lot of famous people. If you saw the posts, including there was several videos on YouTube of people testing against exchanges, testing against BlockFi and Nexo and Crypto.com. No one is beaten. Not one provider has beaten Celsius in the number of coins that you're getting. Swapping, like some of them were testing going from Bitcoin to USDC. Some were testing going from ETH to whatever, Polygon to Matic, whatever. Any combination. I've not seen one pair that somebody showed us that Celsius did not beat. And again, we will beat everybody. It doesn't matter if you trade $100 or $100,000. Okay, you're getting institutional quotes normally reserved only, even if you trade $100, you get an institutional quote that normally is just reserved to the big boys who trade tens, if not millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. So Celsius, unlike Robinhood, somebody was talking about Robinhood before, unlike Robinhood that sells your order flow to make sure you don't get the best quote, and a few people doing that in crypto as well, and everybody thinks that they are the best. So, but unlike them, Celsius gives you the institutional grade for free. Okay. So if you want the higher limit, you got to be platinum. That's the only thing we're asking from you, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that this is fully hit on the consciousness of the community. I know there's a lot of people excited about swaps, but we're talking about a product that makes almost every other exchange obsolete. Because not only are you getting the best possible pricing on that swap, but you're immediately getting yield on those assets that you switch in or out of, and then you're immediately able to borrow against those assets as well. So.
And there's no gas fee. You don't have to move anything up or down, back and forth, right? So even if you think, okay, well, FTX is only charging me 0.1%. Well, you have fees going and coming back and all kind of other stuff. So when you put it all together, we're beating just 1-to-1. This is without moving fees, right? Without... and again, it's good for us also. We paid $20 million in withdrawal fees. So giving you the best swaps is in Celsius' best interest, is in the community's best interest, because we're going to save $20 million next year, if not more than that, right? So again, we want everybody to use it, and we invite all of you to try it out, and go ahead and take advantage of it.
The other thing too with that is I've had people say to me, what is the swap button? So if you're new to Celsius and you see the swap function in your app, feel free to try it. You can switch from Bitcoin to Ethereum. And if you're nervous about it, you can always switch it back. So with no fees, it's very easy for you to try it out. So I highly suggest, even if you're a hodler, try it out and see for yourself just how easy it is.
And I think minimum is what, $10 or something, right? So the best thing to do is just to try a small transaction, compare it to do the same transaction. Take $10, do it on Celsius. You can't do it on Coinbase because their fee minimum is $10. So so that's not going to work on Coinbase. But
any user that's still using Coinbase, especially like the retail Coinbase app, you really got to ask yourself, why are you using Coinbase? They're charging you fees, they don't pay you any yield, and you can't borrow against your coins. Everything there can be done within Celsius instantly for no fees. So,
and by the way, this week we opened 25 countries, including Canada. So, I think I was supposed to say North America, including another country in North America. All right, next question.
All right. Nemesis, you're up next.
Hey guys, just a quick question around the Celsius phone app. Are you guys considering implementing foreign currency conversion in order to display your crypto in your native currency as opposed to USD?
Yeah, so we are working on adding euros. So I'm sure if we're gonna add one other currency, we'll add several others. So like Aussie dollar or whatever. But I don't have a date for it. I mean, it's definitely not the first half of 2022. Maybe second half of 2022.
Nemesis, did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, just because I normally check my stuff in New Zealand dollar, so it's just a lot easier. Thank you.
Sure. So again, if you have questions, you have the majority of Cell Team 6 here. You also have the Lone Queen. So you can obviously direct your questions to them. And, we'll keep it interesting. 424. Okay, come on, push the button. Let's get there.
Push the button. Jimmy, you're up next.
Yeah, this is a question, I guess, for Tal or Alex. Over the weekend, with everything that was going on with the loans, something came up about some type of cost if you do get liquidated. And I just want to see if one of you can speak to that, because I know Celsius promotes no fees. And then somebody explained it yesterday to me on, I think, the 12 o'clock call, that it's just there's some type of cost that's associated that's not necessarily Celsius charging it, was what they said. But I think it would be a good opportunity for either Alex or Tal to explain what that is, because it did cause some unhappy people, and it looked bad in the community. And I think this would be a good chance to clear it up for everybody, so all the ambassadors and everybody going forward can explain it when we're asked about it.
Sure. Yeah. So first, obviously, it's not a hidden fee or anything like that. We don't do that stuff. So if you read your terms and conditions, which most people don't spend the time reading, we indicate that if you get liquidated, there is a 3% charge. And again, we have, and I'll explain. If let's say you're on a DeFi protocol, right? If you're on an Aave or Compound and you get liquidated on that platform, they charge you 6%. For that liquidation. The reason they charge you 6%, so DeFi is twice as expensive as Celsius. And the reason they charge you 6% is because They basically need to go to the community and get other people to effectively buy the loan, because when you liquidate someone, you need to get cash and get other people to fill up the loan, right? Because you're basically liquidating the coins and returning the cash into the pool to get the people who gave you the first loan paid, and then create a replacement for all of that in the system. So in the same way, again, remember, smart Celsius, everything on Celsius is a smart contract. Everything we use, right? It's not different than any DeFi protocol, right? But the main difference on Celsius, right, because we use Fireblocks and everything else, all that is using smart contracts. We just use it as a centralized organization that is trying to do everything in the best interest. All the DeFi protocols are neutral. They are not in your best interest. That's not their job. Their job is to be neutral. They don't represent the borrower or the lender, right? They are neutral protocols that are just there. So, for example, when we lend to institutions and we collect your coins and lend them to institutions, whose side are we on? Are we on the side of the institution, or are we on the side of the community? So CeFi is better than DeFi because it is not neutral. You want Celsius to represent you, or you want Celsius to be neutral? So again, here we have costs associated with reconstituting all these loans, and basically we decided to set it up at half of the cost of DeFi, and all that has been in the terms and conditions since 2018. Nothing has changed. Like Tal said, we just had almost zero liquidations for a very long time, so people probably just didn't notice that. Now that there are more liquidations, people are saying, "Wait a second, there." Just to give you other example, there are other places where Celsius charges fees that are not our fees, right? When you transfer money to Celsius, the on ramps, right, charge fees. I think it's 0.1%, and we just can't eat that for the amount of money, hundreds of millions of dollars that come into Celsius every week. So we charge that to you. It comes off your fiat deposit, or whatever the form of deposit that it's not fiat, but it's whatever wire transfer deposit that converts into a stable coin, right? So all these things are costs that we have to, in many cases, we just can't not make any money on anything, because then we won't be able to run the service. So we have a pass-through cost. Some things we eat the cost, like withdrawal fees, we eat the cost, right? Again, we're showing you how much it cost us to provide you that service for free. Some things we don't cover the cost, like wires and conversions and liquidations.
My question then, Alex, would be this: is like, you've paid $20 million in transfer fees out of the app. If you combine all the people that got liquidated and their costs, I mean, I think it would be a fraction of 20 million. So to me, it's paying select things.
to make you not be liquidated. And again, some of you don't have your phone number in the system. That prevents us from calling you. If you decide not to give us your phone number, then we have to contact you by email or by by a push message. And many people just don't check that. So make sure you have your phone number, especially if you have loans. That helps us. It helps you. We can SMS you. We can call you and help you resolve the issues.
Hey, Alex, is there a way to make it so that, there could be a box you click so that when you have your loan, say you do a 6-month loan, you agree that if you're not reachable for whatever reason, you got stuff going on that's an emergency, you're not reachable, and you forget to renew, that they would just continue to charge you interest? Because I had tons of sell tokens in the wallet. I had the auto pay and sell on. So if you look at the situation, I had all my sell tokens there. I just basically didn't renew the loan. So is there a way, if there was a button I would have clicked ahead of time saying, I agree to let you guys take that sell out of my wallet to pay the loan. That way the loan wouldn't have been liquidated, I guess.
So I can answer that. And again, this is just like in the beginning. So we have people that are shocked that we are not closing the loans by ourselves at the maturity date. Or some people don't understand why we are not extending the loan automatically if the user is not doing anything about our emails. That's why we also give a long time to respond. When a loan is matured, we're trying to reach out by emails right now. We're building a better push notification system. We're going to build better customer, phone services, because this is something new that we have. So we're building it right now. But every client is asking for something else. So now when we're going to build the future of Celsius right now, the next product, the next lending product, we're going to take everything into consideration and try to make sure we give you both options, like close the loan on maturity date or extend it automatically if I'm not responding. It is something we are looking at right now. Yes.
I have to leave. I have to leave in 1 second. Can I just thank Tal personally for her help really quickly? I'm just going to do it.
I'll say yes.
Thank you. I was in a really tough spot the other night. My Matic withdrawal address wasn't, the FTX had changed my withdrawal address and I hadn't realized it. So I needed to change that, which was taking 24 hours. The market was crashing. My sell, I would have been liquidated. I was reaching out. I don't have swaps yet, so I didn't have the flexibility to be able to do that. It was a lot of things all going wrong all at the same time. I was in a bit of a panic. It was a really dark moment and I was terrified. You reached out to me personally, sent me a DM, worked with me through all the different options that we had, and ended up saving a very significant amount of my finances that night. It was a really beautiful thing to see you and your team in action. And I just wanted to say thank you personally. That personal touch made all the difference in the world for me on that night, in that moment. So I'm going to have to get running here in a second, but I just wanted to say thank you on a very personal basis. Your touch made all the difference for me. So yeah, thank you.
Great story, Jason.
Thank you for sharing. It's and these type of days, it's amazing to hear it. So thank you, really appreciate it. And the team is, it's not just me. I want to say it's the team. We built something incredible, and they all have the same. We all want to do the same. We want to do the best for you all. Sometimes it takes a little longer than what you would want us, but at the end of the day, that's what we are here for. So thank you. It's very nice hearing this feedback. Thank you so much.
You, your team, and your leadership made all the difference and make all the difference. It builds the foundations of what this company is all about. So thank you.
To follow up on Clancy's question, some people I know got collateral added automatically out of their wallet. Some people got liquidated. Is there a reason for that? And I do have a couple more questions around liquidation. Does the customer have the option of saying, liquidate my collateral, my sell token, and you can charge me 3%? And the next question is, where do those liquidated sell tokens go? And Alex, I have homework for you. Please watch. Billions is now in season 6. Please watch the latest episode. that came out on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll do it. So again, you can always call the OTC desk, as I mentioned before. And even if your Tal, correct me if I'm wrong, but even if your cell are locked or whatever, they can do basically the transaction for you, right? Of basically just like they normally buy or sell tokens, right?
Yes, they can
You
do
can
it.
buy or sell tokens, right? So you can anything that they buy or sell goes into that special wallet. It's one of the wallets listed on our website. So it's not the Treasury wallet. It's the, I don't remember the exact name, but it's a wallet that they use for basically for all these transactions.
Yeah, it's listed on the website on the sell token page. There's the OTC wallets.
Right.
So that's where liquidated sell would go.
Yep. So if you see that balance going up, that means Celsius bought more. If you see that balance going down, that means that there were more people buying the sell token, and their balance is decreasing because of OTC activity. But all of that is public information, and you can track all the transactions on that wallet. That's why we publish all that information, full transparency.
Otis, did that help answer your questions?
Yeah, but there's one more. Do customers have the option of to tell you, please liquidate my sell tokens and charge me 3%? I didn't know about the 3%.
We're not a trading platform, right? So
Understood.
you have
just yes or no. I just need to
the
know.
answer is no.
A few people
You
are
have
asking.
to. In some states and some countries, we're not even allowed to offer you this option. Okay, so you
that
have
needs to be taken off the app then, because it says liquidated at such and such number.
Well,
or
liquidated means
education.
that, yeah. So when we liquidate, that's a different transaction. But trying to solicit you to sell something in some states, some countries, you need a special license for that. Now, if you reach out to OTC at Celsius, that's considered a different act than us soliciting you.
So, Alex, what you're saying is, instead of just pushing it to a liquidation on the loans team, you can reach out to the OTC team and they can sell some of that locked sell token collateral.
And by the way, there's no transaction fee on OTC. They don't charge you 3%. So if you did the transaction, you put the money into the account, it's the same as if you paid the loan. Okay? Because proceeds are going to go against your loan, and you're no longer in default, and you're in good standing.
Okay, I don't think the community knew that. I wasn't aware of that either.
This flash crash educated a lot of us.
Yeah, so that's a great tool to use.
It's great to know going forward.
Yep. So anyone can use it. Or actually, that's not true. Do we have? Is it accredited only or something? I don't remember.
That was going to be my next question also.
Who's allowed to use OTC? I forgot already. So many rules, I don't remember myself.
Yeah, it might be blocked for unaccredited US, but accredited US, and then everyone else should be able to
accredited and all international. Yes, so it's blocked for non-accredited.
Learn something new every day. Otis, did that answer your questions?
Yeah, I think that's it for now. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks for coming up. Jason, been waiting patiently. What's going on?
Yes, sir. Alex, hey, thanks for the big announcements tonight. It's fantastic. My question is regarding possible regulatory outcomes. You guys have done a great job of treating the cell token as a security, but Gensler last week made it clear that he believes even paying interest on a crypto could be deemed a security. So how does Celsius manage to that possible outcome? I mean, seems like it could have big implications for the U.S. lending business, and just want to know what you think of that.
Well, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't tell you what's correct and not correct, but obviously a lot of people don't agree with Gensler. We are not trying to agree or disagree. Whatever they tell us to do, we're going to do. But I heard that Jerome Powell has an extra room in his house, so maybe I'll just go and live there, under the umbrella of the Fed or something. No, that was a joke. But look, no one knows what the rules are. That's the problem, right? So I don't know if you saw, there were several ex-commissioners of CFTC claiming that these powers are not Gensler's, that they are really with the CFTC. And one of the commissioners said that the government should establish a whole new regime to deal with crypto that will not be SEC or CFTC. So there's a lot of ideas, a lot of opinions. I know the Biden administration is working on this stuff, and we'll see what happens. Whatever they tell us to do, we're going to follow those rules. We're from the beginning, we followed all the rules in all the countries. That's why I can't even remember them. That's how complicated this stuff is. So our system does, I think, a better job than anyone out there, following all this stuff and making sure that it's all, compliant in all the countries, service and places where we provide services. And that's why you see us sometimes we'll shut something down for a period of time, then we'll reopen because we got a permit or a license, or we switched the service providers, or we got a different custodian or whatever. All these things are because we are adjusting to rules and regulations or changes that are mandated by either federal or state rulings. And normally, again, lawyers tell us every day what to do. That's what we follow.
Hey, thanks, Alex. Appreciate everything you do.
Sure.
Thanks for coming up, Jason. Socknug, what's going on?
Hey, everyone. Just coming in hot with another Celsius X question. We got Josh in the room. And so pretty much what I'm wondering is how do you guys excite the Doge and Cardano community that are going to be able to be interfaced with Celsius X? For Doge, for me at least, it seems to make a lot of sense to come to something like Celsius X, but whereas Cardano, I found it to be a bit more difficult to convince holders that this is something they're interested in, as they have their own DeFi ecosystem they're interested in. So just looking for what excites these kinds of communities. Your words.
Maybe I could take this one. Hey, Soapnug? Is that how you say your name?
Yeah.
Sock. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, sir. Yes, if I understand it correctly, it's what's the point of bridging Doge and Cardano? Is that right?
Yeah, like how are we going to get these communities excited to use these features? Because bridging is one thing, CCIP is an entirely new thing.
Wait, interruption. Socknut, you didn't notice, but our CTO just tweeted that he's adding Dogecoin. So I think he heard you and he just answered the question.
Nice. We love that. I think this community will have a great way to experience real DeFi and get off with maybe some of those Robin Hoods and of the world.
Woof woof.
Yeah, so this is a great question, I think. So perhaps one way you can think about this is, so Cardano will have their own DeFi-compatible blockchain at some time in the future. That being said, though, in the meantime, there is demand for Cardano on other blockchain ecosystems. Let's take Polygon, for example, which is one of the blockchains that we're bridging onto. And so, I think any token community, if their token gets more distributed across the various blockchain ecosystems, that's always something to be excited about, right? Mm-hmm. And in the case of Doge especially, Doge doesn't have smart contract capacity. And so then bringing it onto Polygon gives it that ability.
No doubt. And so for now, you would say, for the meantime, for the Cardano community and the DeFi space, it's like, hey, you guys are working on this, but for now, this is really exciting, cool stuff that you can do now while you wait. Is that correct then? Kind of like where we want to go with that?
Well, maybe another way to say it, the future is definitely going to be multi-chain. Mm-hmm. And so even if Cardano were to launch their smart contracts, I think it's Goguen, isn't it, today, then an interoperability layer between Cardano and Polygon, Solana, and all these other blockchains is still required, right? So the point here is what Celsius X is trying to do is build that interoperability layer.
I see. Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. I just kind of want to know from the team's insight what we're exciting these communities with. And that's awesome to hear about Doge on Celsius and how I'd be able to bring.
Well, I would just add to what Josh just said that again, we're doing it natively, right? So there's a huge difference between doing it natively or doing it through bridges that use smart contracts, right? So if you imagine kind of like two continents that have like a rope bridge between them, that's what a smart contract bridge looks like, right? It's very unstable. You don't know if it's going to rip apart. You don't know if your coin's going to get lost on the way. And you're hoping for the best as you're crossing that bridge. Okay? Natively, again, we talked about the thing last week that it's like a teleportation. Something, you put something in one teleportation machine and it just appears on the other teleportation machine, right? It's not going through any bridge or any transfer. It doesn't rely on the code of a smart contract or anything like that. So the chances it's going to get hacked or stolen or lost are basically zero, right? And we're using Chainlink CCIP to validate and verify that, for example, your Bitcoin on the Bitcoin blockchain is locked, and the asset we created on Cardano or Polygon is verified to represent that same asset on the other side, right? So that is something that no one else is doing, right? So, and again, if you read Vitalik's post, Vitalik himself is saying, "Hey guys, I know," he's talking to all the purists, all the DeFi purists, saying, "Listen, this CeFi thing of us building bridges between blockchains, creating a multi-chain infrastructure using CeFi may be a much better idea, maybe the only way to do it, instead of trying to do it with hundreds of different bridges on DeFi." So that's what Celsius has been doing for the last several years. It's just good to see that everybody else is now slowly starting to come over to what we've been telling everybody is the right way to do it from the beginning.
Awesome. So native, I'm getting this native bridging and super high security are really kind of like the top selling points for other layer ones, at least.
All right, now we answered your question, so you got to share because we only have 420 people on this channel.
I got to share it out. You know I do.
So I'm shocked. Sometimes I listen to these channels that have 2,000, 3,000 listeners, and I get in there and they're like all shilling NFTs to each other, and I'm like, I can't believe all these people. Like, come to Celsius. We actually pay you money every week. What are you doing over there buying shitcoins?
Lots of rebase tokens. I've told my friend, that APY number is really nice, but where are they getting that yield from? And I always tell them
inflation. It's called inflation.
Yeah. And I just want to kind of touch on one last thing with the Celsius X and how integral is proof of reserves to that as well with Chainlinks.
Yeah, the proof of reserve is the very infrastructure on which Celsius X is built upon, and then of course in V2, then the CCIP, once that's launched by Chainlink, that would be the second stage of the infrastructure. So in other words, like we really couldn't do anything without the Chainlink proof of reserve.
Heck yeah! All right, that's it for me. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Yep, thanks for coming up, Socknug. Lucas, you're up next.
Hey guys, I shared it out, but I don't have a whole lot of followers, so hopefully I brought in at least a couple people. This question is, I don't know if you can answer this, Alex, because I think you kind of touched on it earlier, but is there any hope for swaps in Canada?
Well, you should have joined at the beginning of the call. I announced that we added 25 countries, including Canada. So maybe you need to reopen your wallet, see if you already approved.
Yeah, I heard that and I checked and I still don't have it. So is it maybe rolling out still?
That means you must be living in Quebec because they don't consider themselves part of Canada.
I'm actually in Ontario and I know things are kind of strict here. So that's why I was kind of wondering if there's maybe some restrictions still.
I know, again, they're doing it this week, so I have no idea who's qualified and who's not. And again, it's enough that they're missing one piece of information on your account for them not to activate you. So I know they're scrubbing through it. They're contacting people. If your data is not up to date, so just again, check your email, check your spam. So this week, I think they're reaching out to all of our friends on the northern border.
Awesome. That's exciting news. Thank you.
Did that conclude your questions and comments?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for coming up. Araceli, you're up next.
Hi everyone, I'm back again. Earlier I asked the question, but Tal, they asked me to come back when you were up in Spaces. So Tal, let's say there's a flash crash, and there's it's impossible to stop liquidations from happening. There's $1 million worth of liquidation of tokens. What happens to those tokens that get liquidated? Do they send back to Treasury? Do they get sent back to the open market? Or where do all those liquidated tokens go to? Thank you.
So that's actually another question for me because my role stops at the end of this tunnel when the loan is liquidated, and I'm moving the information to our Treasury team. They take the coins and do what they need to do at that moment. Unfortunately, I'm not the right person to ask on this one. Alex, do you want maybe to share a little bit about that? I don't want to say something that is wrong.
So everything besides sell token, we liquidate. We actually sell them. Sell token, we just put them back on the one of these accounts, like the OTC account. I don't remember exactly which one, but it probably goes to the OTC account that is listed on our website. I don't think it goes to multiple locations.
And then a follow up on that, Tal. Like if there is a dramatic drop in price, if there's a crazy 50% cut that happens instantly on any of these other assets, how would we handle a situation like that in some sort of extreme market event?
Well, I can share from this week the loans that were liquidated. I think it's 99% loans that were in margin calls for weeks, like minimum 2 weeks, maybe 1 week with some of them. I think we had one loan that was actually triggered at the same day and also got to 90% from 25. It was like a wreck. But usually we didn't experience that this happens in one day, boom. Like the market keeps going lower and lower slowly, and then we see like one crash that we feel much harder, right? All of us. But usually till now, we had enough time to people to let them know, hey, you have a margin call. Hey, the market is going that way. Please be ready. These liquidations this time, we didn't see anyone getting 50% down in one day. Margin calls were open for weeks, and that was part of getting to, okay, we have to liquidate, because it's not that it's one day and the customer need more time to move coins. They're not responding for a while now. So if we'll get to a situation when there's a flash crash and loans in the same day move to 80% liquidation, as you know, we're trying to do the best to not liquidate immediately, to reach out to you, to give you time. But we always suggest people to make sure in advance, when you see the market start moving, it's usually you start seeing it a little before that. Be ready, whitelist your address, move coins around, make sure you have the funds in your wallet in case you want to pay back the loan on time and just close it and take that risk off. Or if you want to pay down the loan, and reach out to us and we will do that. Usually it doesn't happen in a second. It takes a while until the big drop is coming. So just be aware of it and be ready for it.
And again, you can always take a second and a third and a fifth loan against other assets you have on the wallet and just have those stable coins ready, right? Just have so you don't have to do it in the last minute. And so if you're worried about being too close to a margin call, again, you can always take it for a few days and cancel afterwards, right? Especially if you're taking 25% LTV loan, it's 1% a year. So even if you cancel after 6 months, that's half of 1%. But you have all that liquidity ready to go, and you can cover or add stable coins at any time, right? That's instantly. You can basically pay off some of the loan and so on. So you have the flexibility. You just need to know how to use the tools to get there. All right, flash update. So on Polygon right now, 2,137 token holders. Unless I'm reading it incorrectly, Joshua, you tell me. But that's what I'm seeing. That's a big, big number. I don't know where all these people came from. U.S. earn and sell. Okay, last week there were 64 people, accredited investors, who started earning all of their. They basically said, "I want to earn everything in Cell Token." I'm obviously one of them. This week it's 275. So we went from 64 to 275. These are people that said, "I want to earn everything, all of my assets, earn and sell." People who said, "I want to earn some in sell," right? Because you can mark what you want to earn in what. Last week was 119. This week is 497. So more than triple of some people that earn and sell. Again, all these people had to go through accreditation and then go into the app and change. You have to go and change it to earn and sell. We can't do it for you. And total assets right now, new assets for US accredited who are earning and sell $420 million, right? So obviously much bigger number this week. That means we're going to have to buy much more sell, and we're going to have to burn much more sell. So you'll see a corresponding increase in the weekly numbers that we report on Friday. And as you know, we're tracking every week. What are we burning? And again, we are a deflationary token. How many deflationary tokens do you know? Right? So Celsius, everybody else is inflationary. They're paying you yield from Treasury, and you think you're making money, but all they're doing is taking stuff from Treasury and sending it to you. Imagine if Celsius just send you sell token from Treasury instead of going to market and buying them, right? So, and on top of it, we obviously burn 10% more. So again, if you go to the flywheel, right, more users, we have a lot more users every week, equals more assets equals more yield that we earn. We actually earn that yield. People pay us that yield, unlike almost anyone else. I don't know anyone else is actually earning that yield. Everybody else is just showering you with tokens. And then from those, we have two groups. People like these people I was talking about before right now, who are earning in sell, and the people who are earning in kind. Anything that's earning in sell, we earned Bitcoin, we earned Ethereum, we earned Matic, whatever we earned, we have to convert that into sell token. We actually go and buy sell token on different markets, right? And then we calculate how much we bought. We buy an extra 10%, and that 10% is being burned every week. And you can see that on the smart contract. If you don't believe us, we've published the smart contract, the burn transactions on the Celsius smart contract. If you want to see it yourself, just go to Etherscan, look at our sell contract address, and you can see those transactions right there. Right? You can also verify that we're not moving anything out of our treasury or any of our wallets, right? Because you can see the wallets listed on our website. You can put it in Etherscan. It will show you the last transaction. For most of these wallets, the last transaction was in the beginning of 2018 when those wallets were created. Not a single transaction out of those wallets since Celsius was created, right? That's what matters. That's proof. You cannot lie on the blockchain. You cannot fake. You cannot make promises. You cannot do anything. Everyone on this call can go and verify everything I just said without having to rely on me or quarterly statements or accountants or auditors or all the stuff that makes us fail on Wall Street, on TradFi, right? We believe all these people, and then these companies blow up. no matter what, right? And if you're a big bank, then you don't blow up because they bail you out. But everybody else, one way or another, gets in trouble. All right, moving on. Question.
Yeah, and this is what makes us different. And Celsius in the background truly is the only company that's acting in the best interest of its community. And we're doing all of these things right on the back end, and we're relying on the community to share this message, to help us bring new users into Celsius and spread the word that way, instead of paying hundreds of millions of dollars to, go get Matt Damon. But this is us doing the...
Yeah, so just to add to what you just said, Crypto.com screwed it up for all of us. I don't know if you guys seen, but at least 4 countries in Europe and other countries like Singapore and I think Canada as well are passing laws right now to prevent companies from advertising crypto. Some countries made crypto vending machines illegal. They're being ripped out and being basically taken out of service. And all of that is because Crypto.com spent $1 billion all over the world with Matt Damon, and all these countries took action to block everybody else from doing it. So if you think that they're great for the community, they just ruined the party for all of us, because now none of us can advertise or use any of the stuff that they did, because all of that is deemed to have violated local laws, or they're now creating laws to prevent it from happening, right? So sometimes, again, being under the radar, doing it through the community instead of doing it on every media channel possible is the right way to do it. So we don't have to change anything, but all these other guys are going to have to find a different way to burn all that money they raised.
Ready for the next question, Alex?
Yep.
Alex, you're up next.
Thank you, Josh. Hold on a second. I'm tweeting Alex Mashinsky and Jerome Powell are going to be roomies next week. Just kidding. Alex, first I want to say I'm sorry that you didn't get any invites to New Year parties at the Hamptons, but that's a good thing. You're a man of the people, and you have invites. You have friends around the world, and more than all the Hamptons people put together, all your neighbors. So thank you for all you do. My question is to Tal, the beautiful Tal. Tal, I'm in California, and if I take out a loan for $10K, can I have it transferred directly to my bank via, I guess, a wire? And if I do, I guess I pay the $25.
So yes, of course. So when you go to the app and when you go to the borrow section, you have options for a stable coin loan or fiat loan, a USD loan. And you just put the wire information in that process, and we are the ones sending you the money. So we are paying the bank fees for that wire. If your bank has fees for incoming wires, then might charge you for that. But we're paying the wire fee to send you the money. So you can do it through the app very easily. And just make sure that when you put the information of the bank, make sure it is the right information for the Fed wire system. Okay, because some people think it's a hash system. It's not. It's a Fed wire system, and it's a different number sometimes. So you need to check with your bank first what's the information that you need to fill.
So basically, we're paying gas fees and fleece fees from the banks.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Banks find, we work a lot with the banks to send the loans, and we keep seeing more and more fees everywhere. And yeah, we cover the wire fee to send it to you. So.
And some of you put the wrong information, and we have to pay a penalty, and then send it again, right? So we have to pay. Sometimes these guys charge you like $100 penalty because you gave them the wrong information. So it's no fun. I went to, you're not gonna believe this. I went to deposit a check. Yeah, they still do that in banks. You have to physically go and deposit because it was more than the maximum they allow you to deposit through the app. And believe it or not, I don't know how they misspelled my account. Instead of Alex Mashinsky with an M, it was Alex Nashinsky with an N. And then they waited a week to reject the check, so they kept all the money for a week. and then told me, sorry, you can't touch the money because this money is not yours. You have to go and change, prove to us that you are Alex Mashinsky and not Alex Nashinsky. Okay? I mean, just like, so I spent an hour today in the bank convincing them that I am Mr. Mashinsky. Like I'm like, use Google. Okay, just go. Go to Wikipedia. You can find me there. Nope, that doesn't work for us. We don't use anything like that.
Wait, are you saying the banks don't work in your best interest?
Well, they definitely kept the interest on that money for a whole week, So, and all I wanted to do was actually buy stable coins with it. But now we have to wait another week to buy the stable coins.
Alex, did that conclude your questions up here on stage?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I thought for sure I would at least have to cover the wires. So no, this is awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thanks for joining us. Sats, you're up next.
Hey guys, two questions. What are some challenges you're facing implementing layer 2 solutions like Lightning or the various L2 scaling solutions in Ethereum to lower the fees? And then a second question regarding personal situation. Early October, I got an email from Celsius that they were testing retrieval process for the old inactive BitGo addresses, and that Celsius would be able to retrieve my ETH coins manually. I was just wondering if there's any issues with that because I haven't heard any updates since. Thank you.
Joshua, you want to take the... I think, Joshua, we should call our service layer 3 because native is better than layer 2 even.
Actually, I'd call it layer 0. With regards to implementing layer 2 solutions, particularly in the context of gas fees, we will have a solution shortly here online in the context of enabling users to deposit assets via L2. In this case, via Polygon.
Sats, did that answer your question?
Yeah, the first question. The second question was pertaining to the retrieval of ETH from the old inactive BitGo addresses. I think there was a team that was testing that process.
Yeah, so that's I think Nuke was handling that. So if you're following him on Twitter, I would DM him directly and give him your old address, and he can tell you if he can, if he has access to it or not. So I don't know the answer to that because these are really old addresses, right? We haven't used Bitcoin in several years. So you have him, New Gold, right? Just DM him.
What's his name? Sorry, Luke.
Nuke Gold, Nuke Gold.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Yep, that's all from me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for joining us up here on stage. Oscar, you're up next. Oscar, are you there? Make sure you're unmuting if you're speaking. All right, I'm going to move on to Nate.
Hey, thank you, Josh. I was hoping to ask Joshua a specific question about the Celsius X stablecoin. Is there anything you can leak to the community regarding the stablecoin? I'm in Texas and only have access to DAI. It sounds like we're potentially en route to get the licensing for USDC and other various stablecoins here in Texas, and I was hopeful that this stablecoin that Celsius X is developing would be able to be used by all the users. But yeah, can you share anything on it for us tonight?
Hey Nate, thanks for the question. Unfortunately, Celsius X is not in the business of pre-announcements, so unfortunately I can't share anything about the stablecoin at the moment.
Then you're on the wrong channel, Joshua. This channel is always pre-announced. Come on. No, I'm kidding. So I'll make a pre-announcement instead of you. So I think if we exclude stable coins, we can swap in Texas. We can offer swaps, but we have to check all the rules. And if it's a go, then we will be able to open swaps also for many people in Texas. But we cannot, like on the stablecoin side, it's much more complicated. So let's just wait until we get that license, and then we will hopefully be able to do what all the other guys. We waited to see if the other guys get in trouble. Looks like they're not in trouble, like BlockFi and whoever else is offering it over there. So we will try to do the same thing. Next
Awesome.
question.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming up, Nate. Next up is Rob.
Awesome. Thanks for having me back. So a couple things, then I have just a general question for Josh and Alex at the end. So I think instead of layer 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, we should just be layer X for Celsius X. And because we now have 2 Joshes here, I think Josh from Celsius X should be Josh X. So clear differential. So you should probably just change your Twitter handle. So funny story.
Rob, I know you pretend to be a programmer. We're moving you to the marketing department.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's pretty cool stuff. So Alex, funny that you just mentioned that story about your bank. I actually just, since I'm moving out to Tampa, I put a rental application in, and they immediately denied me and told me I had no credit history, which was absolutely comical. So they said, yeah, we can't give you an apartment. And I said, well, should I sell my townhouse that I have now, or should I not sell my townhouse? So I just thought that was really funny with someone who has a credit score of over 800, that they immediately deny you because of some silly number you have associated with your name. But anyways, going to my questions. When I was looking at the API, so I hooked up like CoinTracker and so forth, I noticed that swaps, since they're relatively new, I don't think CoinTracker and people like that you can use the API with, they understand what swaps mean. Is that something that we can work on at Celsius, or is that something that is on the CoinTracker side for them to basically understand what a swap means and how to display it and so forth? Or who do I talk to about that, just in general?
Rob, maybe I can speak a little bit there. Depending on the third-party accounting software that you're using, whether it's CoinTracker or CoinTing or ZenLedger, the API actually pushes all of the transactions. So whether it's a deposit, withdrawal, swap, or even a loan, to the third-party provider, though the third party has to be able to interpret what each transaction means. So in the case of a CoinTing, as an example, actually swaps do register.
Okay, so when I looked at CoinTracker, it just basically ignored the swaps that I did. So maybe I'll just reach out to them and say, hey, can you guys take a look at this and make sure you're handling them correctly? But not a huge deal. I was just curious if you guys have any thoughts on that. So thanks for that. And the other question, which is the more important one that I brought up earlier that we're waiting on, was if Josh X or Alex could talk about Josh X's little teaser tweet that he put out earlier for the community. If you have any insight or things you want to talk about there. That was all. Thank you.
So I guess by the teaser tweet, I think you're referring to the one where I accidentally dropped my keyboard and it hit ASDF on Twitter. That's the one,
Correct.
isn't it?
You hit it twice, actually. Yeah.
Yes, the second time was, I accidentally spilled some coffee. But so that tweezer tweet, I think one of our community members said it best, which is I would just recommend to follow that wallet, and then in the coming days, perhaps a few more screenshots will come to surface. But yeah, maybe we'll just leave it there.
All right, fair enough. I'm okay with that. They just told me to ask later when Alex was here, so I'm just doing what they asked me to do.
Oh, believe me, I Alex is ready to say something.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Well, there was a gag order from upstairs. I can't say anything. You know, don't get me in trouble. I'm already in trouble. I already spilled the beans on 10 different things tonight. Moving on. Next question.
Understood. I'm done. Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Both
Thanks.
Joshes.
Thanks for coming over, Rob. Next up is Get Sugar. Get Sugar.
Get Suga. Anyway, I just wanted to say, well, you guys kind of answered one of my questions. Well, my question about swaps earlier. The guy was talking about Texas and stuff. I was going to ask, is that already all across North America yet? But clearly, I guess it's not. Also, I just wanted to point out, you guys do a great job, man. I appreciate the Celsius app. It's an amazing tool, and I try to get everybody I know to join Celsius. So, good job, guys.
We need some gals too. Stop with the guys, okay? We're trying to
And
get
gals,
50.
and gals. Sorry, Alex, and gals.
I love Texas. All my exes live in Texas.
Well, I don't necessarily live in Texas, but I live in the South, and I know a lot of their stuff relates to us. So I live in North Carolina. In certain parts of North Carolina, certain things are almost similar, like in Texas. So I kind of get a gist of where you guys are at with the swaps.
Right on. All right, next question.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for joining us up here on stage. Tecmo, what's going on?
Hey, my question is for Josh X. First off, you gotta be more careful. I mean, you dropped the keyboard and spilled coffee on him. I mean, come on. But no, you get your hands dirty with Celsius X probably more than anyone. I'm just curious from your perspective, like, you know, I don't think we fully appreciate how big this is going to be. As far as uniting things and layer zero or whatever you want to call it, what do you personally see, like maybe even a year from now, once it's even more of, a developed product? What excites you about it?
Alex, it sounded like you wanted to say something.
No, I forgot to mute.
Yeah, I think I take Hasu's sort of vision of the future here when it comes to the various blockchain ecosystems, which is, I think today users have to choose which blockchain they want to use, and the different apps that they have to choose on each ecosystem. But I don't think that's the ideal user experience. Hasu argues that more likely users would just have to interface with a single wallet app. Let's say that's Celsius, and that they can do all the things that they'd like to using this app. They don't have to know what blockchain they're using. In fact, they don't even need to know which apps that they have to use. And everything just sort of becomes one click, sort of this super app that you can call it. And we hope that, by the infrastructure that we're building using Celsius X, this serves as one of the first and many steps to bring the super app online.
Cool. So it's sort of like, nobody knows how the internet actually works. They don't need to. They just log on and, do whatever they need to do. I guess you could kind of say that crypto going forward could be sort of like the 7-layer OSI kind of thing, where people don't really interact with each layer or know what's going on underneath the hood, but you guys are building part of one of those protocols underneath it.
That's correct, right? It'd be a bit odd if you wanted to send an email to your friend and they happen to use a different internet provider, and you're unable to send that email. So in a similar way, there needs to be these cross-messaging systems that just remain invisible to the end user, and all that the user needs to know is that, yeah, I was able to send my Bitcoin to my friend here, and it doesn't really need to know how that happened, and hopefully without fees and all those other things.
It'll be interesting because, right now you have like, oh, Solana's really fast or Polygon's really fast, and over here this is slow, and this decentralization, like all the problems, all the growing pains we're going through right now. It'll be interesting to see going forward how
that all kind of resolves itself, and then there is one sort of culminating winner that not necessarily a one coin or anything, but like you said, just like the unification of everything. It's exciting to be here in the early stage.
Techmo, did that conclude your thoughts?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for joining us up here on stage. Jimmy, welcome back.
Hey, thanks. This is for Josh X or Alex. It's definitely pertaining to Celsius X. I don't know if you're allowed to talk on this or not yet, but a lot of people keep asking or trying to figure out when they hear that the cell token is going to be utilized in all different aspects of Celsius X, but then they also hear, well, there's no fees, there's no charge. And I think people keep thinking, for example, like Uniswap, where when you do a transaction, there's gas fees or that there are people that have put up liquidity benefit. So I think people are trying to understand if cell token is used as liquidity throughout Celsius X, at the end of the day, how does it actually benefit the cell token, though, if there's no fees that are being generated from that? Or are we off base, or is that something you can't talk about currently?
Well, again, if like when you look at Ethereum and you see all the pairs on these chains and everything is exchanged through Ethereum, why is everything exchanged? Why most of the pairs are ETH, right? So it's kind of the same thing. So if we are creating all these wrapped assets and the most common pairs are going to be with Cell, does Cell benefit, right? So again, the equivalent to it is, what fee does the U.S. government charge for the fact that everybody in the world is using the U.S. dollar? Do they charge gas fees?
No, I guess I see what you're saying, and I guess the Ethereum analogy makes sense with all the ETH pairs on Uniswap, for example.
Yeah, but the U.S. dollar is a billion times bigger, right? So if you think about all the dollars in circulation, right? Who is the main beneficiary of the fact that 80% of the world's transactions are denominated in U.S. dollars? Who benefits from all of them?
I would say U.S. dollar holders are the U.S.
The U.S., right? The U.S. government, right? So the Fed and the U.S. government are the beneficiaries, right? Because basically, the only reason in the world that we can print $10 trillion with a T, 10 and 12 zeros behind it, and nothing happens. The opposite. The dollar got stronger since they printed that money in relative terms to other currencies. The only reason we can do that is because it's the reserve currency of the world. So what is the reserve currency of crypto?
I would say of DeFi, it's Ether. Otherwise, it's Bitcoin, I would imagine.
That's right. So if somebody came with the layer 0, right, like I think this Josh X is going to stick forever. That's it. You better go and change your passport, Josh, because no one's going to know you by Joshua. No one's going to know even who you are. So just like I had to go to the bank and change my name to Nashinsky, you better go and change your name to Josh X.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Alex. I'm not sure if I'm willing to go through that.
It's too late. The community already decided for you. The power of the community. I don't know what you're talking about. So again, if all the chains are connected on layer 0 through this mechanism, and all the pairs are, most of the pairs, the most liquid pairs, are with Cell token, what do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to have a pretty happy community over the next year.
That's what we're building.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming out, Jimmy. Good question. Next up is Paige.
Hey, thanks a lot for taking the question. Kind of two quick questions. Some of it's been touched on. One regarding the swap feature. Is that geo-fenced? And I asked that because I'm registered in Jersey and works fine, but I travel, I go to New York, or I was in Florida over the weekend, I work there, but I'm noticing just depending on where I am, it's either active or not active.
Yeah, it is. Some states we're not allowed to provide the service pending either them telling us or getting a license. So until that is enabled, we are restricting it based on where you are.
Okay, even though my account is registered at a state where it's allowed?
So states like New York and Washington State don't care where you live. They just care that you're in that jurisdiction. And they're basically saying, like the bit license, as an example, relates to anyone who is in New York State. Doesn't matter if you live here or you're flying over or you are just came to drink the water. They could care less, right?
Makes sense. Okay. Just wanted, I thought maybe it was my app freaking out, but just based on where I am, and buttons either there or it's not. Thank you. The other question was, a while ago you mentioned pay in other interest payments, weekly interest payments, being able to select what you're paid in, whether it's self or accredited or in kind or potentially stable. And I asked that because I use the interest payments as an income stream to some extent, and being able to select some of it as stable would be quite convenient instead of then taking the interest payment and having to swap it into stable to be able to withdraw.
Yeah, so that was on the roadmap. I have to check what happened to it. We're adding a stable coin. It might be that because this uncertainty of stable coins and their status, that the dev team has put it on hold. But for now, you have swaps, so you just made everybody jealous. So so I would just use that to, again, there's no fee, there's no cost. So you get to stay in your favorite coins a little bit longer.
Awesome. And then finally, just to follow up on your bank comments, I recently bought a property in Florida, and going through the closing process, and how they make you send 3,000 different forms of paperwork, one of which is proof of funds for the down payment, which they have no idea what Celsius is. They want to see a Bank of America statement or a Chase statement. So trying to work with the underwriters to show them, well, here's the funds where they're coming from. I'll be sending some of that to a bank for the closing, and it's quite difficult. So I think one thing that might be helpful is having a account statement feature, something that looks like a traditional statement. I know some of the other platforms offer that, and if that's something that might be coming up to help assist with having to sometimes still deal with traditional finance companies.
Yeah, so I don't think they will accept our statement either. What I've seen people do is just use their accountant or lawyer, write a letter for them that says, this and this person is holding this much in dollars with this in this account. And usually they'll accept that, but they will not accept a statement from Celsius, believe it or not. So we do issue a letter. So if you do need like a letter on our letterhead that says that you hold this much in assets in our assets valued at X dollars, you can request that from app@celsius.network. But again, I'm not sure that they'll accept it. So unfortunately, again, we're not considered. They basically want to see that you're a bank or a financial institution that they recognize, and if you're not one of those, they they just don't accept these things. So unfortunately, one day a day will come when we'll be bigger than those guys and they'll accept it. But right now, they still consider us as like all of us to be crazy because we have funny money.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, I already have one of your proof of funds letters that I used for accreditation back from December. So I sent that to the underwriter and haven't heard back yet. See what what they think of that. I mean, it might come down to where I actually have to transfer the money into traditional bank account, show them that statement, but then they're going to ask, where did that come from? And I'm back to square one. So I'll know within the next few
Yeah.
days, but it's an interesting journey.
Yeah, so it's definitely a conundrum. It's not an easy issue. I mean, I don't know if you saw Digital Asset News, but he does a lot of real estate transactions. And so if you watch his channel, he took several large loans from Celsius to close on properties. And he walks you step by step of how he used both a mortgage and a loan from Celsius to get the transactions done. So just do a search, Digital Asset News, on YouTube, and he'll walk you through the best practices and all that.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
I
Thank you.
tweeted that as well, probably 2 weeks ago. I don't remember when, but if you don't find it, just scroll back on my Twitter.
Yeah, I think I did see it. It was about 2 weeks ago. It was like a 10-minute video or something. And that's what it might come down to. I just might close on the loan in cash and then finance it after the fact, because then I don't have
That's
to
always easier. Yeah. You come to them with your title. They're always happy to lend you against something that you already bought in cash, because that answers all their questions.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, H. Next up, Pete.
Hey, good evening. Alex, Canada, thank you so much. The 9 of us up here in the Great White North are stoked for swaps. Oh, sorry, 10 of us. I forgot Cellcat. Quick question on Celsius X and the partnership with Chainlink. For us newbies and laymen on the call, is the Chainlink Oracle really the true gold standard in the space? And is it truly trustless? And is the CCIP technology complete? Thanks.
I assume this is for Josh X, right? Just wanted to say that.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, so Chainlink is definitely the premier decentralized Oracle provider today, and they don't show any signs of slowing down. So when you ask if the Chainlink oracles are the gold standard, I think it'd be hard to argue that they aren't. And then your second question concerning CCIP. CCIP is still currently in development, and we're not allowed to say when that's expected to be released, but that's on Chainlink's side.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Pete. Hi, Lux. You're up next.
Hi there. Hi, Alex. I'm Hanny from Toronto. I guess I'm number 11. We could make a soccer team or hockey team. On the lighter side of things, a member of the Federal Reserve is giving a speech tomorrow. His initials match the first 2 of a bank ending in Morgan Chase. Coincidence? I think not. Other than changing his first name to Hodl, what one thing could he say tomorrow to make him seem more friendly to the crypto space?
That's a good one. I didn't think about the JP Morgan connection. That's a good one. Look, again, I think Jerome is, he's trying to do the best he can. I mean, he's not a bad guy. It's not like he represents evil or he wants bad to the United States or he's trying to hurt the American people. You have to understand that the weight on his shoulders is all the money in the world, right? Because it's not just the United States. He represents the reserve currency of the planet. Like I said before, 80% of all the transactions in the world rely on what Jerome is going to say tomorrow at 2:00. Okay? And this is, again, we haven't had this since the late 70s, okay? When Volcker had to make the same choice of either fighting inflation or accommodating all the crazy people with all the crazy you know, fast money, right? Risk taking and so on. And so this is not an easy choice. This is not like it's an obvious answer where you turn left and you get wrecked, or you turn right and you get home. Okay, so if he makes again a dovish remarks, meaning he is going to be accommodating, he's going to print more money, he's going to delay raising interest rates, he's going to delay tapering, or meaning stop the process by which he stops buying more and more bonds or stocks or ETFs. If he does that, right, then he's risking that inflation goes out of control and it wrecks the U.S. economy in a very, very difficult way. Not just the U.S. economy, it's a global economy. Because if the U.S. has the flu or has a cough, the world gets pneumonia. That's how it works. At the same time, if he fights inflation, it's guaranteed that it's going to hurt the economy. It's going to hurt the American people. It's going to put a huge burden on most of the American people who are already suffering through Corona and through all of this, everything we went through in the past 2 years, right? So this is not an easy choice. This is not. I'm not. When I said what I said before and all that stuff, in no way do I mean that. Oh, it's obvious. You should just do this. Obviously, all of us want him to be dovish and not hawkish. Hawkish meaning, again, fighting inflation, right? Tightening, not printing money anymore, raising rates, right? So we want him not to do that, but it doesn't mean that that's the right choice long term, right? And we as Americans eventually have to take the blue pill, right, or the red pill, right, and hit reality. The reality is that for the last 30 years, I would say probably actually since we went off the gold standard, so it's over 40 years now, 1971. The American people have been spending more than they were making. We are constantly using our credit card. I'm talking about the United States of America as a whole, as a country, has been spending more money than it is making. Only 2 years since 1971, 2000 and 2001 were positive years where we actually had more income than we spent. 2 out of 40, 41 years? Right? So if you were running your house bills, and for 39 out of 41 years you spend more money than you made, what would happen to you?
Yeah, not good.
So that's what we are. And the national debt right now, the national debt is over $30 trillion. On top of it, we have additional 60 trillion of unfunded liabilities in the form of promises we've made for both Medicare and Medicaid, and Social Security and all that stuff. And everybody in the world knows that we can't afford it. You want proof? Every country in the world, like China, for example, China used to have 3.1, I think the high was $3.1 trillion worth of US Treasuries. They actually bought. When we spent the credit card, that means that we printed treasuries, government treasuries, and we sold them to the Chinese. When we bought their goods at Walmart, how did we pay for that? With US treasuries. Right? So China got to the point where they had 3.1 trillion in US treasuries, and they decided one day that having US treasuries is not a good thing, and they started selling them. Do you know who bought all those treasuries? The Federal Reserve. They're now on its balance sheet. The Federal Reserve balance sheet now is something like $7 trillion. So you can't do that forever, right? Or maybe you can. That's called MMT, modern monetary theory. Is not modern, and it's not a theory, okay? And that's why we're in trouble. All these things together are coming to a head tomorrow at 2 p.m. Okay, so you're going to live through a very important moment in history in which we're either going to take the blue pill or the red pill. We're either going to wake up and realize the reality that we've been living in for 41 years, or we are going to pretend like nothing has happened and we're just going to chug along and pretend like everything is wonderful.
Yeah, that's it. That's the matrix. Thank you, Mr. Nishinsky.
Thank you.
Nice one. Next up is Greg.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking me back on. I was curious to know, people were talking about swaps before and where they're available or not. I was curious. I'm in New York and was curious to know when that might be available here. And I see in the app that it's currently not. I know New York is a pretty strict state.
You just got to go up the border and switch to Canada. You'll be in better. How far are you from the border?
Pretty far. I'm in the city.
Okay. So just hop to New Jersey,
there you go. Just right over the river.
But maybe we should add the U.S. Treasuries to swaps, so you can swap your U.S. Treasuries into Bitcoin.
Well, that's yet another question, which is, I'd like to not have to use Coinbase or some other way of getting fiat onto Celsius, and was going to ask that as well. Actually, is that coming?
That's the third amigo. Remember there were three amigos.
Yes.
The first two are partying, and the third amigo got left out. So I think he's still at the border trying to get his proof that he has a COVID test. Otherwise, they're going to send him back.
Fair enough.
We are working on it. Again, waiting for a few little things. It's coming. I don't have a date yet, but the minute we have it, I have all these announcements that I'm still waiting on. You don't believe how frustrated I am. Okay? You have no idea how frustrated I am. I have a long list, pages and pages of things that I want to talk about. And every week, I call my team and I say, okay, I'm getting on the AMA. I'm getting on the Hangout. What do you have for me? And they give me one excuse after the next. It's not their fault. I mean, 99 out of 100 things that we have not delivered had to do with somebody else, not us.
Well, I appreciate the hard work from everybody on the team.
But they're all accumulating. They're going to all come as a flood. I can promise you that. Okay, because it's like a dam. It's going to break, and it's just going to be a flood of announcements. And so and my team knows it. They're all they're all cheering right now because they know how many things are piling up. So I understand. Look, a lot of people are frustrated. Some people sold their sell token, and they decided they can't wait anymore. But we haven't stopped working. And you can see, I think, if you look at the speed of the announcements, basically since December, you can see it's just accelerating and accelerating. Every week we have more and more and more, and this is just the beginning, right, of what's coming.
Great. That was it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Greg. Alex, it's 11:02.
Yeah. Well, I gave that long speech about J.P. Morgan, so Anyway, look, guys, this is it's most people don't understand. Like I was tweeting, and some people asked me what happens tomorrow. They had no clue what I was talking about. So it sounds just like another meeting, but it's not just another Fed meeting. Okay, this is a very, very special moment in our future, and I am concerned. I'm not, again, like I told you, I think, what did I say, 80-20 or 70-30? I don't remember what the number I used, but there is a 20% chance that Jerome will decide to fight inflation. And if he does, it will be a disaster to the economic stability of all the people on this call. Okay? You will see, again, a big decrease in the value of your stocks, of your assets. Anything that is dollar denominated is just going to decrease in value rapidly. Now, again, unfortunately, and I'm not saying this with, it's unfortunately that Bitcoin is correlated to the stock market. Okay. And Bitcoin will do exactly what the stock market does. If the stock market takes a 10% dive, Bitcoin will take a 20 or 30% dive. It's usually a 2x or 3x more pronounced. You can see against the QQQ, you can compare it to the Qs. That's what it's really tracking. The Qs are down 10%, Bitcoin is down 50% from the highs. So if the news at 2 p.m. are bad, and you have not, you have to be in cash basically. That's the only place that's safe. Okay, is to be in cash if the news are bad. If the news are good, then you can buy anything you want. Everything is going to go up. Just don't buy bonds, right? But everything else is going to go up. Okay, so just be ready. There's another expiration on Thursday, so if you're trying to catch the bottom, let's say you're already in stable coins. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Okay, I'm sharing with you my thoughts. So this is not asking you to do anything or trade or do it on Celsius or anything like that. That's not what I'm here to tell you. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. And if it helps you, great. If it doesn't, use it for entertainment purposes. Okay, but if we go down on Wednesday, there is another option expiration for Bitcoin on Thursday. All the institutions, everybody who is going to try to make money on this, they're going to sell, they're going to push Bitcoin even lower. So don't buy it on Wednesday. Okay, you have to wait until towards the end of day on Thursday, right? The option expiring, I think 4 p.m. on Thursday. So you have to get close to 4 p.m., like 3:50 or something like that, and that would be a good time if I'm planning to add more Bitcoin. I would buy it at that time if the news were bad. Okay, or buy them some point after 4 p.m. Okay, so those are the two critical times: 2 p.m. tomorrow, 4 p.m. Thursday. Okay, if the news is good, then Thursday doesn't matter. Okay, nothing's going to happen on Thursday. The buying pressure is going to be much, much greater than anything else. Okay, so I hope one day will come when Bitcoin is completely uncorrelated to any of these things, not to the stock market, not to the bond market, and it's correlated to the community, which is what we're all hoping for, but we're not there yet. Today, the black hole called the US dollar is still forcing Bitcoin to circulate around it like a Death Star, So we need to find a way to, again, detach ourselves from this black hole and basically be able to chart our own destination. Good night. We love you. Thanks for joining. Spread the word. Get more people on the platform. Again, we're building this for everybody, right? This is a ride that we all want to take together. So, and it only works if there's more people using the platform. That's how we get power. I don't know if you saw, we win twice. First, we force large exchanges and institutions to pay us interest, right? We get paid by the people who steal from us normally. And second, every dollar you withdraw from the banking system, you have 10 or 20x leverage because of fractional reserve. When you withdraw $1,000 from a bank, they normally have to close $10,000 worth of loans that they issue, right? On credit cards and things like that. So you have 10x leverage when you move assets into crypto. You don't have to move them to Celsius. You can move them to any crypto asset. As long as you withdraw them from the bank, that creates a 10x effect on the banks. And when you see banks like last week, the week before, Wells Fargo announced that they're terminating many of their fees, including overdraft fees. Capital One eliminated a bunch of fees. You're seeing bank after bank do that. That's because we're putting this pressure on them, right? Tens of billions of dollars are leaving them. That means they have to terminate hundreds of billions of dollars worth of loans, right? Of credit card loans and things like that. That's very painful for banks. That's why Jamie Dimon and others are screaming, saying bad things about crypto. They feel the pain. They feel the burn. Okay? So let's spread the word. Let's explain the fact to people that we have leverage. We do have power. And we've shown it in spades over the last 4 years through companies like Celsius and others. Good night, and I'll see you on Friday.
Night, Alex.
And special good night to Josh X. I think we lost him already, but to our new rock star. Take care.
Good night, everyone. Please remember that we work very hard to keep these rooms open for you guys. Follow myself, Zach, and Scott. And like Alex said, we've got a couple more crazy days possibly ahead of us. So make sure you're following Tal as well to stay updated on any loan positions you might have. All right. Good luck, guys. Hopefully tomorrow isn't crazy. And have a good night.